What's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. My name's Kirk. I've been tattooing for over a decade, and today we're going to be reacting to some TikTok tattoo videos. This is a little different than the videos I usually make, but don't worry. This is just adding on to different types of videos we'll be making. So check it out. Let me know what you think. The first video is one that went pretty viral. I'm sure you've seen it or like the previous versions of the video. It's about this girl who's getting Kevin tattooed on her forehead. To me, it looked pretty fake. The original video looked fake. I'm sure she's about to tell you that it's fake, but let's see the video, see what she says.
I regret my tattoo. The video of me getting my boyfriend's name tattooed on my forehead went viral. All of the big social media platforms, newspapers, radio stations were talking about it. And all I want to say is that I regret my tattoo, but not this one, because this is actually not a real tattoo.
Big surprise.
And the reason why I tricked the whole internet is that I have a message to young people and all of the people who wants to get covered in tattoos. I want everyone to know that I regret my tattoos and you might regret yours when you get older.
Okay, so there you have it. It's a fake tattoo. Only reason she made the video was to warn people about regretting their tattoos, which, if that's true, perfect, great. Definitely needs to be more people telling young kids and young people that they might regret the decisions they make, especially when it comes to permanent tattoos, especially when you're getting your hands in your neck. It's such an important thing to not rush into. You might think that you're gonna always love them, but that's not always the case. And I mean, like, looking at her tattoos, some of them are pretty regrettable, like the scorpions here, the rose on her left-hand side. That one, I mean, yeah, they're not great tattoos. The tattoo I like the most is actually the one that's on her throat, the rose there, that looks perfectly fine, especially for a neck tattoo. She probably had it a long time. Be careful getting tattooed. This is permanent, and it's extremely hard to get rid of these things. It's so popular to get your hands in your necks, in your face even, these days, and I'm always like, there's a good chance you're not gonna like that later down the line. But there it is. You heard it. It was a fake tattoo, crazy. Now this one makes me laugh a little bit because dry wiping is extremely painful, but it's a very important part of tattooing. Usually you'll dry wipe in the beginning so that you make sure you don't get rid of the stencil. If you put too much moisture on a paper towel, it can spread the stencil and make it very difficult to tattoo. And then also at the end, you have to dry wipe to get a good photo, or else it'll be like a moisture on the tattoo, which makes it hard to get a good photo. It looks like we're seeing right here is like the end of the tattoo. He's trying to get it clean so you can get a good photo. But this video also just seems like he's being rough on purpose. Which is never fun, never a great thing from a tattooer who's just trying to hurt people on purpose or for a video, but I mean, got me clicking on it, so it worked.
Traditional tattoos are whack, and someone had to say it. All the designs are repeated, they use like 5 colors, and all of them look like a 5-year-old could have drawn them.
So first off, the tattoos look rad. No doubt about it. I mean, obviously, if you know me, you follow this channel, you like traditional tattoos, and by looking at that arm, you're like, he did a great job, and whoever tattooed it did a really good job. Now, the person speaking over it, I've heard this one before, but it's a very common idea for people who don't know anything about tattoos to say stuff like this, like traditional tattoos look like a kid drew it, or it's so easy, or you should get some real art tattooed on you. And honestly, it's just ignorant, and only people who don't do tattoos would say something as stupid as this. In art, the more limiting, a lot of the times the harder it is. So like making a perfect circle in a tattoo, I mean, in your head, if you're not a tattooer, you're like, that looks simple, that's easy, you just have to make a circle. that is like one of the hardest things you can possibly do in tattooing. For most people who see tattoos like this, they say like, it just looks so easy. But I guarantee you, most tattooers who don't specialize in traditional couldn't pull this off. They couldn't make a sleeve look this clean. They couldn't make outlines look this clean. They couldn't saturate color this strong. And it's not anything against them. They probably just haven't done traditional enough, but shows you how difficult traditional tattooing can be. And if someone doesn't like traditional, I totally understand. I get it. But yeah, great sleeve, super cool. And there's a reason why people get these tattoos, is because in 20 years, this arm is pretty much gonna look the same, where that's not always the case with like fine line or like gray, black and gray shading, or these heavy black saturated sleeves. They don't always look that good 10, 15, 20 years down the line. So big ups to this guy, Xander Clay, getting a sick half sleeve. Okay, so Indian street tattooing. Obviously, I can already tell this is outside. We're gonna be talking about how clean and like the cleanliness of this tattoo setup is. And I have different perspective on this than most people, but let's see this. First off, the fact that he's using his phone to stencil a tattoo is crazy. Let's see that again. Like if you go right there, he drew on his phone with either like a Sharpie or a pen, and then he stenciled it on the girl's arm. That's pretty impressive. I've never seen someone do that. And even though he's like copying someone else's tattoo or something like that, I mean, homeboy's making things work in probably not great conditions. So I'm stoked for that. No gloves, that's never a good idea, but again, yeah, no gloves, just straight tattooing. I'm sure he didn't change out needles or do anything like that. Yeah, I'd never recommend getting a tattoo like this, but to be honest, if I was in India and I was traveling the world and I went to some amazing place and I saw someone doing a tattoo like this, it'd be kind of hard for me not to get this tattoo. I wouldn't particularly want this stars and swirls. I feel like coming from America and coming from like the Western world, where tattooing is very much, you go to a shop, you know you're gonna get high quality tattooing, you know that you're gonna get a clean environment. I just, as a tattooer, wouldn't have the same amount of like expectation when I went to a place like either India, or I've been to like the Philippines. I saw some tattoos done on the street there. Even here, I tattoo in Mexico, and a lot of times you walk into places and you're like, yeah, the cleanliness of the shops aren't up to my standards, but who am I to say what someone should be doing in their country and how they should be doing it? And to me, getting a tattoo on the street from some random guy who's just making things work is cool. So I would probably get something, not necessarily this, but something. It's funny, he doesn't have rubber bands on his machine, so his needle's just like jumping around doing all sorts of crazy stuff. But again, he's just making things work, and I can respect that. Yeah, super gross. So gross, putting his dirty hands all over a fresh tattoo. But yeah, again, I'm not gonna hold someone to the standards that I have in a different place who maybe doesn't know. So, and I just think it's cool that he's tattooing, making it work. It's amazing, you know, and it's important to keep in mind, like 40, 50, 60 years ago, this is how tattoos were done everywhere. No gloves, same needle, super dirty, in the middle of the street type of thing, at least in some places. So I like it. And I think that if you're going to be traveling, be cautious where you get tattooed and how you get tattooed, But if you understand the risks and you know what you're potentially getting, and potentially what, awful stuff you could be getting, it's kind of cool. If you like this video, if you like my perspective on tattoo TikToks, make sure you like, subscribe, stay tuned for next week. I'll come back at you.